So I'm an actor, and a lot of living as an actor is a step 5 moment, I guess, because it's a lot of like trying to find that balance and with amongst all the no's. And so funny, in like the first part of my career, it was a lot of yeses early on. And you know, you go to other actors like, oh my gosh, like my biggest problem is my show won't go to series, and people are like, oh, good for you, you know. And then you get a series, and it does well, and people don't know what it is. That's probably why it got canceled. And then it gets canceled, and then you're like, okay, yeah, I could do this again, because I did it. And then it doesn't happen. And then it doesn't happen. And then you go up, step 5.
So the conditions are affecting you. And you could say, so far in the conversation, sort of controlling the way you feel.
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah. Yeah.
It's not easy to get past what is to find a feeling. Play this game with us just for a moment.
Yeah.
We think that it'll put you in the perfect place for the evolution of this conversation.
Yes.
So imagine someone who has been banging around for a while, and now they're tuning in through, let's say, meditation.
Right.
And a daydream is beginning to occur to them, and they are envisioning a television series, and it's sort of playing out in their mind. And they're not taking any action because it's not formulated enough, but they're enjoying it. And they can see themselves succeeding, and they can see it coming into something that's real, and their logic now is sort of involved in what they're seeing, because you can't detach your brain from your vision. Your brain is interpreting the vision, and so you're putting in all your pieces. This creative person is, and they know that there will be actors, and they see them generally, and they know that they will be good because it's a successful series that they're feeling, and they're excited about the general character unfolding, even though they haven't really defined the characters. And then the daydream evolves more, and they begin to feel the characters, and they've taken such pleasure in this daydream for a while, maybe even a month or 2.
Or a year or 2 or 3.
Well, usually not that long if you're really tuned in.
Ah.
So they've taken such pleasure in this that now they're feeling the impulse to take it further. And so they begin writing it down. And as they write it, it flows. And the characters are beginning to take shape. And they're identifying the characters. And they don't know what the characters are going to say. They just know who the characters are. And they know what the character is of each character. They know the characters that are tuned in, tapped in, turned on. They know the characters that are resistant. They know the characters that feel good in their life. They know the characters that aren't. And they've decided to put all the contrast of the world into this enactment. And so now they stand back, and now they've identified the characters. You're this, you're this, you're this, you're this. And now they begin to dream about scenarios. What kind of scenarios? Will they be indoor shots or outdoor shots? Will they be in squalor, or will it be in abundance? What is the attitude of this environment? Will there be a little bit of all of it? And then they begin putting the characters in rooms together, and then out of their dream state comes the dialogues. The characters just talk to each other, because once you know who someone is and you put them with somebody else that you know who he is, what they say to each other is perfectly obvious to you. And so your dream comes alive, and you write it all down, and now you've got this plot, and now you've got this story, and it's a story that is open-ended, because these characters are always evolving and changing, and every now and again, if it gets to be a little slow, you introduce a new character. Now the new character changes all the other characters, because now the vibrational mix is different than it's ever been before. So you kind of get a picture of how some storyline might evolve. And if someone's really tuned in, tapped in, turned on, they write a sort of never-ending storyline like that. They give it room to evolve. So now, step away from that, because you got the hang of what we were talking about, and see yourself now standing in part of that scenario, and you're one of the actors that has been chosen for that. But before you get there, let's write your own storyline. In other words, you get tuned in, you get into that place of knowing your value, knowing your talent, knowing your propensity, knowing your desire to evolve, noticing your capability of doing about anything. In other words, focus upon how you feel as an actor, not a mundane, predictable actor, but an actor who has so much breadth that you could be chosen for lots of different scenarios, so that evokes within you such a feeling of expansion that it almost takes your breath away. So that's how you've defined yourself. And now you're tuning in and you're just dreaming, and you're tuning in and you're just dreaming, and you're not trying to get a job, and you're not trying to create a scenario, and you're not trying to build it from the ground up. You're just envisioning yourself. You're just allowing the vision to be within you. You didn't create the vision, you received the vision from what you've put into the vortex. And what's in the vortex is incredible because of all that you've lived. So all this meaty stuff is in your vortex, and now you're in the receiving mode. And just like the creative director or the creator of this scenario that we were just describing, now you've got the same sort of thing going. You're receiving the daydream. You're seeing yourself feeling really excited about something that somebody's presenting to you, and you can feel in your gut the longevity of it, and you're excited about it because you can feel that it's going to call from you things that maybe have never been called from you. This is not going to be boring. It's not going to require discipline. It's going to be something that just calls the very best from you, and you can feel such eagerness about it, you see. And so that's the work. That's the work. And nowhere in that scenario, in either of those scenarios, did we compare it to anything else that's out there. We didn't aggravate or activate anything that's not pure positive energy without resistance. We just described a scenario, and as you focused upon it, many of you felt it. You felt it too. More power happened in this dialogue with you focusing, and you stayed right with us every bit of the way. More happened in that scenario than in all of the squirming and interviewing and wondering and analyzing and problem solving that you've been doing for a while. That's powerful. That is the work. You have to believe. Do you believe that the dream is within you? You've got to be the receiver of that. You see, this is a big question that we're asking you. All of you, you either believe that this vortex is real or you don't. And if you believe that the vortex is real, then you've got to know that there's stuff in it. And if you know that there's stuff in it, then you either believe that your inner being's all over it or you don't. And if you believe that your inner being's all over it, then you got to know that your inner being knows who you are in relationship to that dream that you have not let yourself receive, but that you have created, you see.
Oh. That was good. That was really good.
You're not just a regurgitator of lines. You're a owner of the character who has such depth to you that when you play with the other actors, they become different too, because of the intensity and the power, pleasure of your moment in time. So you're not waiting for something to open up for you. It's opened up. You're just allowing yourself to dream it for a while. So people say, are you working? Oh yeah. What you doing? Don't want to tell you. Why? Because you'll step in it. Are you working? Oh yeah. What are you doing? I'm receiving. It's happening for me, man. What's happening? What's happening? I can't tell you. Why not? Because you'll step in it. It's big. It's big. And then they'll say, well, I can feel something's going on.
Well, I'll tell you later when you see it. That's what I'm going to say. You know?
Yeah, it's a project.
It's a project.
It's a
not,
project in development that is private and not out for public consumption yet.
Don't even ask me right now.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
Exactly.
But I love what you said, and it was just so cool, because when I was, because that's the work I do, and I love you just affirmed all of that. And there comes that moment, and we all have this moment where we go, just show us something. Just something. And this is great.
Stop right there and hold where you're going, because we want to hear where you're going. But this is such an important nugget that you've just introduced. Because if you can be satisfied with what you're shown in the dream, you're home free. But if what you're being shown in the dream isn't enough, and you need evidence or proof or something different than that, then you've just screwed yourself.
But no. Okay. So
when you say, show us something,
right,
we want to say, we're showing it to you. Will you look? Will you look? Will you catch the vision of it? We've dreamed it into a scenario that's pretty awesome. See it, see it, see it? And you're saying, show me.
Yeah, and I got it, because see, I was doing the work, and something said, it was so peaceful. It was just like, we'll show you.
Yeah.
Just get a ticket to go see Abraham. And I said, oh, yeah, but I like sitting all the way in the back with that nice lady all the way back there with the glasses. I was going to sit next to her, because I love sitting all the way back there and just watching everybody and listening to the stories.
Doesn't matter where you sit, it's your energy that calls.
Yeah, and I was sitting back there, and this nice gentleman said there's a seat next to me, and I said, oh, okay. And I sat there, and I raised my hand, and you called, and then as soon as you pointed me out, my heart said, told you.
So what you've just described is the correlation that we're asking you to watch for always, because there are those things happening all the time where you receive an impulse. You see, we offer lots of wonderful words. Esther finds them, and there is never an inaccuracy in the vibrational alignment in anything that comes from this platform. In other words, this is the real deal that's happening in terms of what's going on in the universe. But as true as that all is, we may very much look to any one of you, or to all of you, like Esther's just someone who's really got her spiel down, and she's presenting something which may or may not work out that well for you. It isn't until you acknowledge that there is a vibrational reality, and you quiet your mind enough to receive from it, and are consciously aware that you've got a daydream going, and then as you recognize that impulse, you act on it, and then you see what you're asking to see. That's the exact scenario that has to happen. So when you say, will you just show me? Source wants to say, tune in and you'll see. And you say, I can't tune in, so show me anyway. And Source says, you can't see it until you tune in. And you say, okay, I want to tune in, but I can't tune in. And Source says, well, now you're just making trouble for yourself. In other words, it's time for that nap again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. You're the best. Thank you. Yeah, come on. Thank you. Thank you.
We want you to remember his face.
Oh.
Because, yeah.